And good evening. I wanted to show everyone one of my fun custom markers. It's a customized PCS US-5. It's basically a Tippmann A5 clone, but instead of a cyclone feed, it's got a hopper very similar to Tippmann 98. Folds down, you can see right into the feed port. Can accept Tippmann A5 stocks. It's got a barrel thread drum that can be switched out. I'm pretty sure it's the same or compatible with an A5's thread drum. The barrel is actually spider threaded, is what it came with by default. Can't use tombstone devices. It's got its own proprietary little thing, and I'll show you a little bit about that later. I've obviously put AK-47 wooden parts on it. I mean, I think they look great. I've cut a little bit of a slot here, a cheek rest, so when wearing a mask, you can actually get down closer and look through the sight. Not the easiest things to do, but still possible. I didn't want to go too aggressive on that. Depending on your mask, if it's got a really flimsy side, like a speedball mask, it should work fine. Hard masks, maybe not so much. It's pretty much set up for a remote line. This is an expansion chamber as well as a cool-looking magazine. So you got that going for you if you really like running CO2, but the fact that it's on a remote line, it's kind of overkill. The trigger has been lightened, and I'll show you that. So a very light trigger pull on it. Apex barrel, 16 inches. And so I'm going to start it off, no paint, nothing's in it. You guys already saw I opened it up, so again, wear a mask if you're actually going to be firing paint. Just going to air it up and show you that it works. A couple shots out of it, and then I'll show you the tricky part. And the reason I'm really making this video is how to take this barrel off if you need to do maintenance or anything on it. So, gassed up. Probably should have cocked it first. That's sputtering. So you can see, firing, working great. Chrono is very strong. Just upgraded the spring and everything in it. So let's get to taking it apart before my battery dies. Sling mount here. It's going to come with the sling. And the main reason I'm getting rid of this marker is that I want to put more money into that guy right there. This is my TAC 1. I'm hoping to put EMAG lowers on it. So free up some money for that. Known issues as we go into it. It's got 6 screws. This is an A5 flat top rail. Uses a Weaver rail thing. As you can see, it fits on there perfect. I'm missing one screw on the back side. It just fell out. As long as you sink them in good, they don't fall out. I didn't sink that one in during one game, or I don't remember. Maybe I lost it while I was trying to maintain it. You see here, I've still got this little metal piece for it, but I lost this during my last game, this other screw. I don't know where it is. If I can find it, great, I'll throw it in. If not, you might have to hit the hardware store for something to replace it. The expansion chamber is actually on a different marker, and that marker, the threading got stripped out inside this itself, so you can see it's actually JB welded in place. So if you want to put some kind of standard air line off of this thing in an ASA, something like this, you can put the ASA on there, and then you just get a really short steel braided hose and an adapter like that, and you should just be able to click it in, have your hose coming off, and everything will be wonderful. But as it stands right now, you're going to have to be running a remote line on this thing. And plus, putting a bottle off of this thing with the wooden parts, it's not a light marker. So I think having a remote line is the way to go with something like this. And plus, it just looks awesome with nothing on it. I get plenty of comments every time I bring this thing out. It's a very fun, very intimidating marker. You can see the lowers here are not at all like an A5. It's another big difference between the US-5 and the Tippmann. There are pins here, pins just like the A5, you can pop these out. These pins here pop out, and you can see the little hole and a little extra button here below the safety. That's for their E-trigger. You can buy one. I don't know how hard they are to find, how much they are, but you pop the 2 screws out, slide this out, pop the E-trigger in, you can turn it on, change the programming on it, just on the fly. You want to go back to mechanical, pop it back in. So it's really neat. Easy to change batteries, easy to change back to mechanical. Your battery dies on it, pop that in. But again, I think it's more fun as mechanical. I've lightened the trigger pull, lightened the springs, messed around with everything in there. The trigger mechanics are a little different than an A5s, a little nicer than the A5s, I think. Those are that little plate, those 2 plastic plates that kind of sandwich the trigger group in there. On this marker, it's actually held together with 2 little Phillips head screws, so you can just pop the whole trigger frame out, throw it around, whatever you want. Screws, pins, nothing's going to fly out of it. It's completely self-contained and easy to mess with. Again, not compatible with a Tippmann, but everything else is. Tombstones, obviously it doesn't use a tombstone. Other than that, springs, hammers, power tubes, bolts, stocks, even the top rails, all Tippmann A5 compatible. And the back here, I've seen people put a Cyclone feed on it. So a Tippmann 98 Cyclone feed will fit on this thing if you were so inclined. I think it works perfect the way it's set up. This is a 2 to 6x adjustable scope with a cool little eye rubber gasket, just for show to make it get that little Soviet look to it. Apex barrel, 16 inches long. So let's go ahead and take the barrel off. The main reason I'm making this video. First thing is you've got this cleaning rod. It's all for show that I put on there. So just pull that out. It's held in pretty good with friction. This thing is not going to accidentally fall out. I've played dozens and dozens of games. I've not had a single piece fall out. Next, right here, there's a set screw. This is the only set screw you're going to have to take out. It's 1/16 inch. Back that set screw out. You can see this part of the frame here. Barrel comes right out. That allows you to have access to this guy here. Just pop it straight off. You can see it's got a hole there. It's held in with friction there, but mainly it's that set screw that holds that top part of the power tube off. This cocking rod was the thing that was really holding it in place. It goes straight into there and butts up against the frame of the marker. But you can just pop this little thing here. Back, it's spring-loaded. The whole thing comes right off. So all your wooden parts are off. Now you have access to the barrel. You can straight unscrew it now without any problems. You can see the milling I've done here. Yeah, it's kind of a hack job, but it is completely covered by, again, one-handed goodness here. You can't even, I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of a blemish here, but that's from wear. But you can't see any of the milling that I've done to this thing. Milling, quote unquote. Call it what you will, but it works. The lip's been shaved off. It does have a slot under here, just like an A5 would. You can put an A5 foregrip on there, whatever you want, whoever blows your skirt up. Taking this off just to show you the stock parts of the stock. Obviously weren't wood, they were plastic. I coated them in this awesome gaffer tape. If you guys can't tell, I love this gaffer tape stuff. It provides a good grip and it looks cool. This is just held on with friction right now. Here's the top part of it held on with friction, but it's a pretty good friction hold. I never really figured out what to do with this top part. It's supposed to emulate kind of a shortened gas tube. Maybe I'll paint it, maybe I won't. If you want it, it's up to you. I'll just throw it in for free. I don't care. This, however, I won't. This is another one of my barrels, spider threaded, 5-inch JCS X short barrel with an apex tip that I managed to rig onto it. So get yourself a 5-inch barrel, something short, something sweet, and you can have yourself a little Krinkov submachine gun style action going on this thing. There's a secondary mode on this gun. So you can see there it is, standard stock comparison. You can see it's twice as long. It's a little hex shape there. I cut it down. And if we, just ignore this is here. You'd want to get like an A5 butt plate and maybe take that scope off. A little ridiculous having a 5-inch barrel and a scope, but it's an Apex, so why not? So you got a nice, short, little compact submachine gunny guy going on there. Maybe find yourself that E-clip for this thing. I know it's called a clip of some kind. The PCS made it. Get that, boom. Now you got a little submachine gunny action going with a full